have some other sections of this where I interview some really interesting people here, some that are working on the unhoused problem in San Francisco. This is a really interesting moment to be here. And I know that it's also an interesting moment probably everywhere in the world, and things are changing. But San Francisco has, I don't want to say is hollowed out, but the downtown area, maybe we'll go down there in a little bit, and I'll show you there. There is basically in the middle part of the day, it feels like downtown Detroit or downtown St. Louis, places that I'm really familiar with, where you see boarded up hotels and there aren't people there in the middle of the day, which is something that I don't think most people who have lived here for a while would ever think was going to happen. The discussion in town is, where is all of this going? So it's an expensive place to live. There have been a lot of people that have moved away. I've heard of different situations where people are being offered 3 months free rent. People have had their rent reduced a third, which is crazy. Here is still pretty expensive. And some buildings here have occupancy rates in the 60s, residential buildings here. Different neighborhoods are hit more than others. Places near the ocean where there used to be fog, they are filling up. They have single family units. And then places like the Mission and Soma, which have been so hot for so long, are emptying out right now. And so it depends on your perspective here. There's been a few things that people have posted this past week in the Wall Street Journal and in Fortune magazine, investors that have written TripAdvisor reviews about their experience here in San Francisco. And they're kind of like trashing the place, what's left of it, and then they're leaving to their tax haven and criticizing the local government and management. While they were here, they didn't do very much to influence the community other than just brute force with money. I didn't see them at any of the meetings or working on any of the solving any of the problems that having a lot of money here created. And there was a wave of people, some of which were my good friends, that came here in the last 10 years, probably starting in 2010, that came here for incredible opportunities. And as old as San Francisco has been with Caucasians being here, it has been a boom and bust cycle. Obviously, there was a gold rush. There was a boom here during World War II with activity at the Presidio, and then things kind of receded. The issue that I see here right now is that a lot of people were evicted. It used to be the kind of place where you could work at a bar or a coffee shop when I got here in 2007 and actually live here and not be scared about what you're doing. Those people have washed away in this last boom. And when you have a moratorium on evictions, and then you also have a moratorium on foreclosures, this is a prediction, everybody. I don't know what you all think. In the spring, it could be the prices could go lower. It's possible. So we're looking to see what happens in the spring here in terms of whether or not this is a place where, hey, it's all clear again. If you're cool, you can come back here. So I'm editorializing a bit here. I think it's okay when people with a lot of money leave town here. I think there's been too much money for a long time here. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a chance to heal. And I'm not certain whether or not it'll ever become what it was. And I'm not sure if that period was what it was before. I think that there were some discoveries here in drugs and in technology and in who you are and different kinds of things that we can talk about over the course of these interviews that I'm planning to do that made this a place with, frankly, only 800,000 people, and then you can count the rest of the Bay Area. But that punched well above its weight to a point where some of the technologies here are disrupting democracies and clearly affecting the world. A lot of places have tried to replicate it. I'm not certain whether or not this is necessarily a good thing that this area wants back, but I don't think it's going to be easy for places to just, these people will leave and they'll take the brilliance with them. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. So this is an ongoing discussion. I don't know if there's anybody else here that wants to talk about it, but I know this is going on in a lot of cities right now. My friends in New York are trying to figure out what's going on there. And I'm basically, in my point of view, I want to see what happens in the spring. So tomorrow I'm supposed to talk to, this is kind of a tease, I'm supposed to talk to one of my good friends here that works in the unhoused, and I'm setting the time with him. He's at work right now, but we will find out what his point of view is. Just a little bit of a preview on that. There are a lot of really amazing things happening here with the unhoused that people have had ideas on for a very long time. And now we're starting to see them. And some of those ideas are, you can hear some of these things talked about. They're putting unhoused in hotels. And they also are having it in communities where people can have some stability outside with their tents. And this was something that just wasn't possible before COVID. And our numbers have been pretty low compared to some cities around the country. So this was a necessity to make sure that these members of our community were safe. But now they may be some things that we learned from, and we can actually start to gain some ground on these members of our community that have been suffering because of the boom that we just had. So anyway, we're going to have some more stuff here. Stick with us here on HAPS, and I don't know how you get your subscriptions or whatever, but we will be back hopefully with Richie on here tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.